Hey everybody, today's video I will share with you what I know about eyes, ears, the carotid sheath, head forward posture, acetylcholine, dander and allergens, cervical instability, and at the end of this video I will tell you why this is important and ask a question for all my viewers. First up is hearing loss. So hearing loss is a problem with older adults, and this problem seems to be getting worse in our society. So hearing loss can be very serious. One of the causes is loud noise. Another cause can be viruses and bacteria. And one of the reasons this is important is because it's related to dementia and other cognitive abilities. So as you lose your hearing, you can lose other cognitive abilities. Your hearing is highly connected to your brain and the downstream signaling of how you use neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine. So this can be a very serious issue, and it's definitely worth our time. An important thing to know is there is an increased risk for falls, and loss of hearing can cause loneliness and isolation. And that's sad. That leads to suffering and depression. That's not good. Okay, next up is balance and hearing are connected and why it matters. So here's a little picture of the human ear. This is like a very precision instrument, and it can be damaged very easily from loud noises, pet dander, swelling, head injuries. You notice right here it says it's part of the body's balance system. So this ear connects with the rest of the brain using acetylcholine and other neurotransmitters to help you with your spatial awareness to understand where you are in the world. So again, one of the causes of this is prolonged noise exposure. It can affect both hearing and balance. There's also a serious balance condition that I have highlighted right here that is connected to hearing loss and other things that are mentioned in this article. Another important thing to know is the hearing system and the balance organs share a nerve pathway to the brain. So this is all connected to the brain. It's how you form your images of where you are in the world. Like when you're walking around your house, like you have a kind of a map in your brain of where you need to go. You don't necessarily have to dart your eyes around all the time. Kind of like when you are driving a car. You look far down the road. You don't just look right in front of you and drive like doot, 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 doot. You look far ahead, and then you can drive straighter, and then these systems in your brain don't have to be taxed as much by darting around. Okay, next up is an article on just hearing loss. So here's how common hearing loss can be, especially in older adults. Here's some of the causes again. Colds or allergies. Allergies can be a lot of things. Allergens, including pet dander and many other things. Notice being hit in the head can lead to hearing loss. So if you have a dog in your house, you can be hit in the head. You can trip over your dog and get hit in the head by stuff in your house. Or you may have been hit in the head as a kid because your parents let the dog knock you all over the house. One way to avoid hearing loss is to get regular exercise. But can you get regular exercise if you've tripped over a dog in your house? No, you probably can't. Okay, since we're starting to talk about dander and allergies, what is dander? What is allergies? So animal dander, which is pet dander or dog dander in our modern dog worshipping society. This dander can cause allergic reactions that can affect your inner ear, the epithelium layer on your eye, the mucous membranes, all of those proteins that come off of the dog. It's just dead. It's basically dead meat. Animal dander is just dead meat proteins. Well, when you have dogs in your house doing this is landing inside of your ear. It's landing on your eye. It's affecting your tear ducts. We'll talk about tear ducts a little more here in a little bit. But it's not good for you. And I know a lot of dog owners are probably watching this and they will say, hey, we got 3 dogs in our house and everybody's fine. We just take Zyrtec once a week. But these are also the same dog owners that they'll have maybe 2 or 3 dogs in their house and they will seem fine. They won't really notice it because they've lived with dogs all of the time. But you can get antibodies. All this little crap that's flying off the dog, you can get antibodies to that. those tiny flecks of dander in the air that you're breathing, you can get antibodies to that. So a lot of people that have dogs, they'll say, "Oh, it doesn't bother me, man. It's good. What are you talking about?" But a lot of those people will have dogs in their house, and then they'll get one more dog. They'll say, "Well, we just found this dog, and he's so lovely and beautiful, and now we need Zyrtec, and now we need air filters, and now all of a sudden we have allergies." Well, it's all of this stuff that's in the saliva, urine, pet dander. Your body can only handle so much of this. So dog owners that think they're okay, your immune system is on the ragged edge of needing help. And that's why a lot of these people that get another dog, or they travel to another city and they don't have their, they leave their dogs at home, and now they go get new allergens coming. They have constant sneezing and everything else. And they even admit the best way to avoid the dander is to stay away from them and where they live. And of course, like I mentioned, filters. People buy tons and tons of filters to keep this pet dander out of their eyes and ears and other things like that. So there's a lot more to be said about pet dander, but basically it's a dead protein that comes off of your dog, and it does not belong inside of your inner ear canal or your eye or anything else, because it affects those little pathways and it affects your tear ducts. Okay, so now let's look at forward head posture real quick. So this forward head posture right here, this is not good for you. There's some stuff going on here. These little bones, they house your spinal column, and as they get pushed forward like this, they damage those nerves or they inflame those nerves. And then on each side of your neck is the carotid sheath, which is full of veins and blood vessels that carry oxygen into your brain and CO2 out of your brain. And all of those things are compromised when you have this head forward posture. And having a dog creates head forward posture. It creates rolled shoulders because you're constantly looking down at the dog. And then your ears and eyes have less blood flow to them and less ability to get rid of oxygen. So here's another picture to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Here's the C1, C2, C3, C4. On this side would be the carotid sheath. And with cervical instability, clinically what that means is these little pieces right here are collapsed. And then these bones, the relationship between each one is not right. So all of the nerves that are in here that go down to your feet and everywhere else, they get compromised. They get squeezed and squished. And then those carotid arteries on either side that are in the carotid sheath, that also happens to them. Of course, you should be able to move your head all around however you want. But when you have a dog in your life, even if you don't have damage to these little things, your head is moving around all the time. Look over here, look over there. You're going to walk to the bathroom. You got to dodge the dog, step over the dog, walk around the dog. Your head alignment is always being stressed. And notice it talks about this muscle right here. You can read this up here if you want. But this is a big part of it. When you have a dog in your life, your head is always over here, over there. So even if you don't have cervical instability, which you can get from having a dog in your life, like being knocked on your ass several times from having a leash, even if you don't have that technical clinical diagnosis of these pieces being damaged, you basically are making yourself have cervical instability by constantly darting your head around or darting your eyes around. So this is a little picture. It shows how your ears are connected with your eyes, and the movements of your eyes, it goes through your brain. And all of this is done partly by acetylcholine and other neurotransmitters. And it affects your spatial awareness. It affects many things in your life. But it's just showing you basically that there is quite a connection between your head rotation and your eye position. And the more that your head is rotating, the more that your eyes are looking down instead of looking straight ahead, the more you're utilizing the nerve pathways, the more you're taxing them, the more you're using up your acetylcholine, the more you're taxing your acetylcholine receptors. So let's go to our next slide. So here is a little information about acetylcholine. This is a neurotransmitter. It's very important for your balance. It's very important for your spatial awareness. Vision control is largely from this. When you have low acetylcholine, your muscles don't respond to your brain as well. your brain doesn't get signals from your muscles as well, and it makes it hard for you to do stuff like riding a skateboard, walking on top of rocks and balancing yourself. And without acetylcholine, you're at risk for many brain diseases. Here's a list of some of them. Also, dementia is related to low acetylcholine. And we'll go over to the precursor of acetylcholine, which is choline. But it's essential for maintaining the structure of function, plays an important role in eye health and disease. It's a precursor to acetylcholine. So I'm just showing you this so you can kind of get an idea of what this thing does in your body. It's very important for the ocular surface and the tear ducts. Now remember, your tear ducts are one of the things that are hammered when you have lots of pet dander on your eyes. And so having a pet, because of the effect of the tear ducts, it can screw around with your choline balance. Notice some of the symptoms. So now that I showed you a little bit about acetylcholine and stuff, back to this picture. When your eyes are darting around a lot when you have a dog, you're using up your acetylcholine. You need acetylcholine to get these cells working between your body and your muscles. Whereas if you just got up from your couch and you said, okay, I'm going to walk to my kitchen, my bathroom, you're not going to use a lot of acetylcholine. Your cholinergic system is not going to be taxed. But if you have a dog in your life, likely that whole system is going to be taxed, which means your acetylcholine system can be taxed, and then you're more at risk for dementia, blindness, Alzheimer's. And so having a dog and the actions that having a dog in your life, the head rotations, the constant eye movements, those ears being put whoa over here in different posture positions from having a dog, that can be a part of many health risks out there. Okay, so why is all of this stuff important? Because our society more and more pushes dogs for senior citizens. And when you have a dog in your life, you have head forward posture, rolled shoulders, you have to constantly be darting your eyes around for where he goes, and that's taxing so many of the symptoms in your body. All of these little curated articles, they give you pictures like this, and grandma and grandpa are always bending over, turning their head sideways so that they can have the dog all up in their business. Like grandma here, her head is turned to the side, that's stressing her shoulders, her eyes are up this way. That's not how you're supposed to have posture. You're supposed to stand and look at your fellow humans and activate your brain. It is so much better for you. You can see grandma's posture. She's got the rolled shoulders, the head tilted to the side. Also, she can make eye contact with this dog. And you know that this dog they got a picture of the dog sitting still, but these dogs are always boing, 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 going all over the place. So grandma's eyes are having to go like this. Same thing with her head. And that's taxing all of the systems in her body, the systems that need to be there for her vision, for her ears, for her stability, and everything else. And the other reason that this is important, pets are a huge risk for senior fall hazards. This is an article that shows 10 environmental hazards, and pets is number 5. But even some of these other hazards, like, for example, walking on a driveway that's slick or steep, walking on cracked pavement. What are they doing when they're doing that? They got a dog tugging them around and they fall. Fall hazards happen a lot with senior citizens. Senior citizens have balance problems, vision problems, hearing problems. They have rolled shoulder problems. And then you hook a dog to them, and then you tell them to watch out for cracks in the sidewalk, and you tell them to watch out for slick surfaces. Meanwhile, they got a dog pulling them around too. Plus, the statistics show many senior citizens are falling, banging their head, busting their hips, and having other terrible injuries right in their home because of these dogs. And lastly, head forward posture is part of something called kyphosis, which basically means hunchback or rolled shoulder symptoms. And so that's what I was talking about earlier. And it's also leads to other not desirable health problems. If you're young and sporty, you probably aren't going to be so affected, but senior citizens are going to be way more affected. So my question for everybody, should we really be putting dogs in the homes of senior citizens? Dogs that create all these risk factors. And I haven't even talked about all the senior citizens that are killed by family dogs. But that's my question. Should we really be putting dogs in homes with senior citizens? Or should we be putting senior citizens around more humans? See you guys in the next one. Don't forget to check the description for the links to all this stuff, and I hope to hear a comment from you guys later.